Hi, empaths. Welcome back. Blessings, love, and light to you. Thank you for joining. These messages today are pretty specific. And so take what resonates, of course, and toss the rest. Hopefully, there will be some wisdom in what I share that will benefit our collective. And hopefully, we can all glean and integrate together what is for us individually and what is aligned for our collective. So, I had a dream last night. I'm going to share the dream and then I'm going to share the interpretation that came to me. I encourage you, if it resonates, to get, a notepad and pen and jot down any notes that come to you because you may interpret what I'm going to share a little bit differently than I do, and you know what resonates and what's relevant to your life. So before I get into the dream, I recently saw an interview with an artist, a singer named Kaylani. You may know her. And she was talking about her spiritual awakening. And I found it really interesting. I love listening to actors and artists, begin to talk about their spiritual awakening and what changes and what shifts for them. And so one of the statements she made, she claimed a friend had said this to her, but she didn't mention the friend's name. So she said, sometimes the blessing is in the redirection, meaning you have a path, you're going along a certain way because you believe that's right. And then, for whatever reason, you get redirected. Perhaps it's an abrupt redirection. Perhaps life just changes, shifts, death, grief, loss. So many things, right, can interrupt what we thought was the way. And that can sort of sideswipe us or discombobulate us, dysregulate us. And then later, as we're going in the new direction, come to find out that's where the blessing was all along. So I found that statement so interesting. Sometimes the blessing is in the redirection. And one of the things that the spirit realm, the guides that I work with, said to me when I was pondering that was sometimes it's best to just stay the course. So both are true, right? Sometimes the blessing is in the redirection, and sometimes it's best to just stay the course. Now I'm going to get into my dream and I'll revisit Kaylani's quote in a little bit. So literally, this happened last night. I had a dream about the Cajon Pass. And so for those of you that live in California and are familiar with the high desert, you know the Cajon Pass is a very important highway for us to get up and down the hill. And so I live down the hill, but I obviously have to take the Cajon Pass if I drive to Las Vegas or if I go to see friends that live in the high desert. And so the Cajon Pass is, for the purposes of this video, we'll say it's like a portal. Okay, it's a highway. It's a pathway, a corridor, but it's like a portal to the rest of the world if you live high on the hill. It's the one way that you get down there. I mean, you can take the train, and there are some back roads, which are a little bit interesting and sometimes a little bit scary, but there's one main highway, we call it the Cajon Pass, that allows us to go up and down the hill. So in the dream, there were 5 of us empaths, me and 4 of you, okay? And we had this really exciting opportunity to go down the hill, and we were going to do some spiritual work. We were really, really pumped up. We were super excited. So we were up the hill, getting ready to come down the hill. And whatever this work was, we thought about it, we planned for it. We even already knew which one of us was going to, drive us down the hill. And we were super excited. All of a sudden, this person shows up. This person we assumed was an empath because they were a part of our group, but none of us really knew this person. This person brought a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, a lot of charisma, and was super excited about going with us to participate in this event that we were going to do. Now, the interesting thing is that we already had a plan, And this person came in and kind of disrupted our plan with their plan. But he was so optimistic and excited and jovial. We kind of allowed this person to railroad our plans and insert, his idea. Now, the interesting thing about this person is at times he looked like a man and at times he looked like a woman. So he was a bit of a shapeshifter. He went back and forth and looked like both genders, which I find interesting and I think will be symbolic a little bit later. Before this person came on the scene, there was this other guy that was a part of our team that seemed rational and practical, motivated, strong, mature, ready to drive us down the hill. He was like a man with a plan. He was trustworthy, he had an incredible integrity, and he just felt solid. You know what I mean? He was one of those solid people. And yet, when this other person came along who was super excited and enthusiastic, we kind of allowed this person, we allowed this person to get us off track. We shifted our focus and we allowed this individual to decide that, to make a decision for us that they were going to drive us down the hill. So, like I said, at times it was a man, at times it was a woman. And he was super insistent, but so jovial and fun and exciting. I think that masked the fact that there was some manipulation and hidden agendas that weren't exactly on they weren't right there in focus. And yet I can say for myself, I felt a little bit uneasy with this person. I was into the jovial excitement, and yet at the same time, I was kind of like, something felt a little bit, I don't want to say off, but ungrounded. I'll say that. Something felt a little bit ungrounded. So this person really wanted to drive the car, wanted to drive us down the hill to our destination. And of course, like I said, we were all super surprised, but we went with the flow and we all stayed excited. However, what we didn't realize is that everything was going to change drastically fast the minute this individual took the wheel. We were super, super wrong about trusting this person. So from the moment we got into the car, this person began to drive crazy. Okay. And so if you're familiar with the Cajon Pass, it's like there's several lanes. Okay. And it's up high. And if you go too far over, there's a point where you can be in opposing traffic, but there's also a point where you could literally be over like the guardrail and in the side of the mountain. I mean, it can be very scary. And the Cajon Pass sometimes gets shut down if there's too much ice or if there's too much snow, if it's raining too hard, if there's fires. I mean, the Cajon Pass it's no cakewalk, and it's certainly not for the weak, and it's not for people who aren't comfortable with the road and who are unfamiliar with it. So the moment we got into the car, this person began to swerve. They drove across lanes and even ended up in opposing traffic at times. We went so far across lanes that we literally ended up past the guardrail. We were literally driving along the side of the mountain. It was super scary. And she was driving at an insane speed, like so scary, so fast. I literally thought I was going to die. And I was thinking, how did we end up in this situation where we're about to die when we were on our way to go do like beautiful spiritual, God-directed work? How did this happen? So it was super scary. We're holding on for dear life. We're telling him to slow down. The person is like blasting music, not listening to any of us, just having a field day, swerving across lanes, barely missing other drivers. It was really not good. So by the time we did finally get down to the hill, we were not at our original destination at all. We ended up in some scary place. It was nighttime, very eerie kind of feeling. We didn't recognize anybody. And it had been all day since we started, something that should have probably only taken us an hour, hour and a half to get. It took us a long time because we went in all these other directions. We ended up in this very shady, dark, shady, dingy apartment. And our driver was excited to be there, but she had kind of like tuned us out. and was starting to do drugs and seemed to be super satisfied with his, their drugs and just doing their thing and didn't care about us. And we were literally in shock. The rest of us were just like so in shock. Some of us were shaken from the crazy drive, happy that we were still alive, but couldn't believe this had happened. And then some of the group were super upset and angry. And the original guy that was supposed to drive us was just so mad. He went off on the driver for a moment, and then he took off. And little by little, each one of us ended up leaving. We didn't leave together, and we all knew that we were going to have to fend for ourselves, and figure out how we were either going to go back home, which was up the hill, or try and find the original destination. It really was messed up. It was really scary. It was really negative, really bad. Something that was so positive with such beautiful intentions had just completely gotten derailed. And now we were in a very scary situation. So as I was walking out of the apartment, I had to walk down some stairs to go outside, and it was super dark. I could barely see. The stairwell was very difficult to see, and it was kind of cloudy. I ended up downstairs, and all of a sudden I was approached by these three nefarious looking beings who wanted to kidnap me. One woman, one and two men. And it was like so exhausting to have just had that experience, with this crazy driver. Now I've got to fight off these predators who literally want to kidnap me. I don't know, wanted to traffic me or whatever they wanted to do. The interesting thing is, in this part of the dream, I was not afraid. I was exhausted. I was very aware. I wasn't afraid. I couldn't really see them because it was super dark. So I had to use energy, and I was literally using energy to push them away and keep them off of me. It was very Matrix-like, a lot of Matrix kinds of action. But I noticed I wasn't afraid of them. I wasn't even afraid that they were going to win and that they were going to be able to abduct me. I was exhausted from the experience we just had, and now I'm having to exert my energy to fight off predators that I shouldn't even have to be fighting off. And I was aware that if I wasn't relentless and if I gave up, they would win, but I wasn't going to let that happen. But I was frustrated that I had to exert my energy to keep them off of me when I should have just been doing something beautiful that was honoring God and the divine. So it took a lot out of me. I finally got away from them and ended up in some drug house sitting with all these people that are packaging drugs, but they were nice, they were cool, and it was beginning to be daybreak, so I could see the light. And I realized, okay, I'm just going to sit here and chill, recompose myself, gather my energy, refresh my energy. And as soon as it's bright enough, I'm going to get out of here. But I need a plan. I need a strategy so that I can get back on course. These people, to the right of me and in front of me and behind me were clearly bagging cocaine or something, some kind of drug. And I was just shocked. How in the heck did I get here? What in the world went wrong that I would find myself in not just the wrong place, but such a drastically different experience than what was originally intended? So I knew I had to get out of there. I knew I needed a plan, and that's pretty much the dream. So crazy, right? So there's a lot here, empaths. When I woke up, I meditated and I asked for divine direction and clarity about what all of this means. And these are the notes that Spirit gave to me. So the Cajon path is symbolic of transition and of the vehicle towards your destiny. It's the way, okay? It's the path. Now, that person that hijacked our plans, at times it was a woman and at times it was a man. And so this is symbolic of the thing that can take you out, the thing that can take you down, the thing that can distract you and derail your spirit-led plans can be any gender. Do not be fooled. Don't make assumptions about the individual based on race, color. Somebody was telling me yesterday about a person they've known for 20 years from her church that went off on her in such a way, she was completely shocked, completely sideswiped. And when she said to this person, so and so, I can't believe you're acting this way. We've known each other for 20 years. I've never seen you behave this way. And the response of the dysregulated, crazy person was, I've felt this way about you for 20 years. I've hated your guts for 20 years. And my client was just shocked that this person had felt this way about her for 20 years and she had never known that the individual thought this way. So regardless of gender, how you know the person, church, no church, worked with them for a long time, married them, had kids with this person, live on the same block, none of that. Don't be fooled. Here's what else Spirit said. Take the lead. Go full speed ahead. So we were speeding. Go full speed ahead when it's directed, but going full speed ahead when it's not directed is going to be destructive. So go full speed ahead, empaths, but with the right driver. And if they're not the right driver, you take the lead. Be the driver. Stay in your lane. Stay away from reckless drivers. And it's symbolic, right? It's metaphorical for people who are enthusiastic but have no regard for your life. They're not people of substance. They lack maturity. There's no reverence for your heart, for your concerns, for your life force, for your dreams, your plans, for your goals that have already been strategically outlined. Stay away from reckless drivers, empaths. Also, remain alert. Watch the road ahead. Be hyper alert about not just, don't have tunnel vision, what's right in front of you. Be hyper alert about what's going on, what happens down the hill, what do we need to look out for? What are the roadblocks? What are the red flags? Remain cautious. Be careful. Also, pay attention to the edge of things, because we were on the edge, right? We were on the very edge. And at the edge, if it wasn't for the grace of God and the divine, we really could have gone off completely and plummeted down the mountain. Okay, so pay attention to the edge of things. Empaths, we are on the cutting edge and we are on the precipice of the edge of things. So there's a lot of good happening. We're integrating new things. We're learning all kinds of things. We're way showers. We're teachers. We're guides. We're healers. And we are on the edge, the cutting edge of new earth, creating new paradigms and inviting humanity and the collective to participate in a better way of being human in a divine way. We're on the cutting edge, but we're not all the same. And so we need to use discernment, empaths. We're not all the same. You can't trust everyone just because they seem to speak the same language as you. I'm going to say this again. You cannot trust everyone, dear empaths, just because they seem to be speaking the same language as you. They may appear to be speaking the same language. They may talk the same. They may be enthusiastic and excited, spiritual, into universal consciousness and crystals and things like that, and singing bowls and all the stuff, right? They may show up at all the events that you host, and they appear to be on the same page. They may be wolves in sheep's clothing. They may be very immature. They may be distracted. They may be extremely reckless. So use discernment, dear empaths. Watch allowing others to hijack your time, your space, your safety, your plans, your security, your forward movement. Be very discerning. Don't allow anyone, dear empaths, to hijack your better judgment. Use your better judgment at all times. Just take a deep breath and allow yourself to anchor and ground in all that you know to be true about who you are, and align with your soul structure. Live from the sanctuary of the heart. Follow your intuition and do not be distracted. Don't allow anyone, dear empath, to take you off course, off track, away from your divine destination. Protect your vehicle, as this is symbolic of your transition. Protect your vehicle, protect your process, protect your ascension, protect your path, protect the reason why you came, why you're here on the planet at this time. Be extremely selective at this time. Avoid danger zones. Stick to the divine plan, empaths. Don't let anyone change the plan that you know in your heart is what God, creator, source, divine, universe is leading you towards. And certainly don't let anyone come in at the last minute and hijack the plans that have been embedded or laid, the layout plans that have been placed in your heart by creator, source. Just because they can doesn't mean they should drive or take the lead or lead you anywhere. Just because they can drive, just because they're excited, just because they have the motivation, just because they're a healer, just because they're a psychic, just because they're a channeler, just because they've got this coaching program, just because, no, that doesn't mean that they should lead you anywhere. Be discerning. You've got to learn to decipher code at this time, dear empaths. So don't let anyone take you off course with their reckless way of living, being, or driving. And recognize, dear empath, it may be insidious. You may not realize immediately that this person's a little bit off or something's wrong or they have nefarious plans or agendas or they straight up serve the darkness. They may serve the darkness, okay? They may be on a different claim for a different team. You've got to use discernment at this time more than ever, because your life could be in danger if you do not stay on course, if you do not take the lead, if you do not follow the guidance of the divine team that works with you. So wake up, empaths. Okay, this is a wake-up call for us. It's not about doom and gloom or causing us to be afraid or wallow in fear and, like stay negative or, go into the hermit mode and never come out because we just can't trust those humans. No. Just use discernment. Wake up, keep your eyes wide open. Dear, beautiful empaths, now is the time for us to be in our highest light. Relationships are changing. The relationship to ourself and our guidance and the relationships in the external world are changing. You can't just go with somebody else's flow. Stay in God flow. Stay in spirit flow. Stay aligned with the divine beings that you work with, your guidance, your team, your ancestors, your angels, those beings assigned by God, creator, the source, to protect you and lead you as an empath of light. But you can't just go with the flow of others, even if they say or claim to be in the light. Be assertive, dear empaths, and be clear about what is not for you and what is not the plan. Stay in flow with what is the plan. Stay aligned with what is the directive. Toss everything else, cut cords, release the energy that no longer serves. Only be about your plan, dear empath, and your path and your destination. Stay the course and protect your light and your path no matter what. This is the dream. These are the interpretations. This is the symbology and the metaphors that the spirit realm has given to me to share with our divine empath collective. So, dear empaths, if you choose in this space, take a nice deep breath. I call in all of our divine guides, divine beings, the teachers, the protectors, the guardians that honor our life and our life path and all that we're here to do as divine beings of light. I'm asking you, dear ones, to join us in this sacred circle and protect every empath that watches this video. Keep us clear, alert, on track, divinely aligned, and only living from the sanctuary of the heart. Protect us and guide us and show us the pitfalls, the holes in the road, the distractions, the energy vampires, and all beings that are nefarious or too immature to run with us or not stable enough for us to align with. Thank you for the clear bubble of light around our lives, around our families as we do this precious work, around our finances, our health, our abundance, everything that concerns us. Thank you for continuing to keep us safe and protected and guarded moment by moment and breath by breath. Thank you for inspiring us and activating in us an ability to be hyper alert and focused and strong at this time, and to be intuitive and to follow our intuition, to use laser sharp focus and iron grip control that has been divinely gifted to us to stay the course. We are souls of light. And we are divinely guided, we are divinely supported, and we will remain on track. And so it is. And so it is. Dear empaths, these are the messages that I have for you this week. Stay the course, take the lead. Stay the course, take the lead. Oh, and real quick, back to Kaylani's quote. Sometimes the blessing is the redirection. And Spirit said, and sometimes it's best to just stay on course. But they also said, once I took all these notes, it's the redirection at times that does get you back on course. So the point is we have to stay discerning, dear ones. Remain discerning. Sometimes you're on path and you think you're going the right way, and Spirit will come and redirect you, and that's where you're going now. Other times you're on course and some distraction comes to sideswipe you. Your job is to get back on course, stay the course. And sometimes after you've been sideswiped or dysregulated or discombobulated or some crazy thing entered your field, in that space of shock and awe and surprise and just trying to dust yourself off and get back on course, that's where you want to realign, meditate, get directives from base, be in the sanctuary of the heart, because at that point, the redirection is the new flow, and that's what's going to align you back with Spirit. So I hope that these messages make sense to you, dear ones. Take what resonates, take what aligns for you, toss the rest, and I can't wait to be with you again. I'm sending you so much love and light. Blessings.